All right. Hello, and my favorite skaters. It is Coach Busy. I am here to talk to you guys via video on team culture building. And when at first I started that I couldn't do a live Zoom with you this week, I was feeling pretty under the weather, but I will be on Zoom with a couple of the teams this coming Monday. But for now, I want you guys to take this video, watch it with your teams, and kind of go at your own pace. I'll prompt when to pause the video and restart it and things like that. So it should be pretty much the same as having me live on Zoom. All right, so really important to talk about this in the beginning of any season, building culture. Because I think when teams and athletes want to create a positive culture on their team of support, it's better because we have higher self-esteem as athletes and lower performance anxiety. So those are two of the biggest goals that I want to, implement with you guys. And I think it would be so helpful to have that as well. Also, I think team success and overall skill improvement kind of go hand in hand with this as well. So if we're having higher self-esteem, lower performance anxiety, we're also more likely to just perform really well, which is awesome. So I'm going to talk through 3 different ways that I want you guys to start building this culture of support on your team. We can give support in many ways, but one of which is open communication between each other and our coaches, total team involvement, so making sure that athletes' voices are heard and everyone has a role, and then social support on the team. So those 3 things are, I think, the biggest ones that we're going to dive into today that can kind of build this positive culture of support on your teams. First one, open communication. Teams can be supportive of one another when they focus on communicating with each other and with their coaches. So for each of my 3 things, we're going to do a quick activity and then talk about how we're going to use it in the future. So for our open communication activity, I want you to find a partner on your team. I'm going to explain it first, and then you guys can pause the video to do this. Find a partner. Simply, I want you to tell your partner 2 highs and 1 low from your last practice. 2 highs and 1 low. If you guys, for some reason, have not practiced yet, or you were at practice or for some reason, you could do this for 2 highs and a low of just your day as well. So I want you to do 2 highs and 1 low, and then you guys are going to switch. The other partner will get to talk, and then I want you to run up to your coach or your coaches, and tell them what the highs and lows from your partner were, or to make it easier for your coaches, write these down and then hand them to your coaches. So either way, trying to do some open feedback to each other and then to our coaches. So go ahead, pause the video and do this. All right, so hopefully that went really well. Biggest purpose of that was to start being able to be open about the things we are doing well and things we want to improve on to our teammates, but also to our coaches. Different ways to use this in the future. So coaches, you can do something called, and I'm going to show a picture of it on the side here, a learning loop after competitions or maybe every other week of practice. This is an example I use with my volleyball team that I coach, but it basically breaks down different questions and ways to kind of evaluate where the kids are at. So athletes would answer questions like, what went well for you and why? What are some things you want to change? What do you think their current role on the team is? Who do you think should get like the game ball, or like, the best person on your team that's been really supportive and whatever. This kind of encourages open communication. So athletes, this would be a good way for you to be able to talk to your coaches without having to sit down and talk to them every day. And then basically, another way to do this is encouraging just time to share things as a group. So if you do like a question of the day or something, just to prompt communication on your team, that would also be helpful. Our next one is total team involvement. We feel so much better as athletes when we feel valued on our team. Everyone has a role on a team and definitely should feel this way. And so this one's going to be kind of fun. Another quick practice activity for you all. Again, don't start this until I prompt, but you are going to be broken into 4 groups on your team. So if you have 12 athletes, it'll be 4 groups of 3. for an example, and I want you each to, if you could have the ability to plan a part of practice, like one drill or skill to work on, how would you do that as a team? What would that look like? How would you get everyone involved? What would you guys want to work on? I want you guys to, coaches are going to set, break you guys into these groups, set a 5-minute timer, and each group could pick the same drill or skill. It doesn't have to be broken up beforehand. That's okay. But I want you to take 5 minutes to plan a part of practice and then present it to your team. So if I'm in a group with 3 other athletes and we really want to work on a certain song that we've been practicing, we would plan like what that would look like, how to get everyone involved, how to be supportive of one another, things like that. So I want you guys to each of your groups plan that part of practice and then present to the team. Go ahead, pause the video to do this. So using this in the future, I think it's so helpful when coaches can hear from you guys as athletes on what you want to work on. It helps with the culture of support and kind of the open communication we talked about. And it also is good to focus on how we can make sure everyone is involved in practices. So if you're on the team, if you're an athlete, making sure that you're communicating with everyone, supporting each other. If you're a coach, making sure everyone is involved somehow in the majority of drills, practices, etc. So our final thing is my favorite one, social support. Any successful team is full of athletes that feel like they belong or they can connect with their teammates. Another really big one to focus on, especially as you guys start your year and your season. Quick practice. This is going to be another one where coaches are going to set a timer for 5 minutes. Simple. I want you guys to take 5 minutes. You must connect with every single person on your team, run up to them, give them a high five, and then one compliment to each other. You have 5 minutes to do this with every single person on your team. Once you guys are done, the timer will stop. Try to do this. If you do it in less than 5 minutes, obviously that's okay too. But go ahead, pause the video and give a high five and a compliment to every single person on your team. Go. All right, hopefully that was a pretty fun one too. Purpose of that, emphasis on connection. I think it's important to encourage things like this in practice, like high fives or connect them with each other, not being distracted and talking about a bunch of different things that aren't about skating during practice, but just like supporting each other, making sure that you belong. You could do this also outside of practice too, where you're connecting with each other in like a group chat or do team dinners. Social support is so important in building this culture of positivity. I would also say make sure you're not, being with the same people all the time. If you're like riding on the bus or getting water or something, try to talk to a new person or connect with a new person every single time too. All right, our summary, building a strong team culture comes with strong team support. Make sure we can communicate openly, feel involved, and be supportive to one another. Super simple. I know it sounds really basic, but I think with the suggestions I gave and the different things we practiced today, should be really good to start building some of this positivity. Let's get after it. So excited for being a part of this again with you guys. Can't wait to connect with more teams on Monday, and hope to see you guys soon.